Our next guest is a very funny gentleman.
One of the funniest comics in America.
Really bloody funny.
You were funny as hell.
Here's Dan Naturman.
Dan Naturman.
Very funny. Dan Naturman.
Dan Naturman. Dan.
I don't trust doctors. I used to think they knew what they were doing, and then I started seeing these commercials on TV for prescription medication. Apparently, we're supposed to tell our doctors what to prescribe for us. Like I saw the commercial for Prevacid, and you know what it says at the end of the commercial? It says, ask your doctor about Prevacid. And I'm thinking, shouldn't your doctor know about Prevacid? How's that my job? What, do you walk into your doctor's office? Yeah, there's nothing we can do for you. Oh, what about Prevacid? Oh, geez, you know, you're right. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. Now, let me write your prescription. Now, how many milligrams is good? Did it say in the commercial? I try to meet women on the internet. Anybody do the internet? You got to be careful on the internet. People lie to you on the internet. Now, what's the number one lie on the internet? People lie about their age on the internet, and then they'll put up like an old picture from like 1982. And then they look young in the picture, and then you meet them, and they're 78 years old. That's why I tell women I meet online, look, send me a picture of you holding today's paper. One picture I saw on the internet, the Berlin Wall was in the background. And it was under construction. You know what amazes me most about kids? How easy it is to make one. I find that amazing. That to me is amazing, because I'm not a very handy person, you know, or anything. And yet I could create a human being, which to me is bizarre. Well, I can't even put together a TV stand from IKEA. And I certainly can't put one together by accident, that's for sure. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to wake up after a night of drinking and there's a TV stand in my apartment. You know? I'm still not married, still no kids. I did become an uncle for the 5th time. But don't applaud that. Who cares about being an uncle? Uncles don't do anything. Have you been to the bookstore? There's a whole section on parenting. There's no uncle books. Nobody ever wrote, like, what to expect when your sister's expecting. And a lot of magazines about parenting. There's no Uncle Weekly magazine. What would an article be in that magazine? Is your nephew out of control with drugs and alcohol? Well, since it's not your problem, here's some weekend getaway ideas. You know who called me? I got a call from New York University, where I went to school. They called me up looking for alumni donations. Anybody ever get a call from where they went to school looking for money? That's what they do. They call me up, they're like, we need more money. I'm like, what'd you do with the money I gave you? I thought I already paid you people. And nobody else does business like that. You don't go to a restaurant and then they call you up years later. They say, yeah, we're renovating the kitchen. Can you kick in a few bucks? Help us out. Oh, we're calling all the chicken parmesan alumni. And speaking of typos, you send a text to the wrong person, you can't cover that up by pretending it was a typo. That would never work. Like if you texted like, hey, my wife doesn't even know we're sleeping together. Asterisk, be home soon, honey. For me, the worst time for me that I ever texted the wrong person, I texted by mistake, come over, I'm horny, to my cousin Sheila. Well, I apologized. I was like, sorry, cousin Sheila, that was actually meant for somebody else, so, sorry you came all the way over here. I think dating is a lot easier now. We got text messaging now. When I first started trying to date, you had to call a girl up and have what's known as a conversation. Calling girls up, I'd be shaking like a leaf. I'm like, hey, maybe we can have coffee or something. But texting is easy. I'm like a different person. I'm like, yo, baby girl, what you doing with your fine self? Why don't you shake that booty on over here? Then she gets to my apartment. I'm like, girl, you looking fine tonight. She's like, I'm standing right here. Why are you still texting me? People ask me why I've never been married. Good question. Probably because I talk to married people all the time. And you know what I'm not hearing? Enthusiasm. Ain't nobody selling this marriage thing. You wouldn't buy any other product if people talked about it the same way people talk about being married. Like if you went to buy a car and the salesman was like, well, this car, it's not easy. It's not easy, you know? You really got to work hard. It takes a lot of work. And there'll be good days and bad days with this car. I ask married people all the time, how do you like being married? At best, you know what I hear? So far, so good. At best. I ask people, how do you like Game of Thrones? They're like, oh my God. Thank you, everybody. That's it for me.
That was good. I really like that. It was funny.
Oh, stop it. No, sit down. Really.
You've got it all. You got the delivery, your likability is there, and every joke was rock solid.
As Heidi says, you are funny.
You're really bloody funny.
Awfully funny.
This dude's funny.
Always hilarious. Dan Naturman.